How are all of you lovely people doing today? My name is John, and welcome to another fantastic zombies commentary. Today, I would like to discuss whether or not zombies actually exist. It's a weird topic to discuss, but I think it's an interesting discussion to have. What really got me thinking about this was a quote from Richtofen on The Giant. Take a listen.
I wonder, is this need for payment something from Max's subconscious? Or mine?
This is a weird quote, because when you take it and interpret it literally, the zombie storyline gets weird. Things don't work like we expect them to. In fact, the zombie storyline kind of breaks, in a sense. Richtofen discusses the point system in the game, and he wonders, is it his subconscious or Max's subconscious that has created this monetary need? Does this mean that the world around them is based on their own subconsciouses? It's almost reminiscent of a dream state, where everything around you is based on something you either know or something you had already experienced in the past. The world around you isn't real, it's just a collection of whatever is in your brain. Does this mean that the zombie storyline isn't real? Does this mean that the zombie storyline is a dream, or that it's a simulation? Or maybe it's just a smaller system within a larger system? It gets strange. Now, I don't want you to listen to this and say the zombie storyline isn't real. I don't want you to take what I'm saying as the gospel, as fact, because this is just an interpretation. It's a bizarre interpretation, but I wanted to jump down this rabbit hole because the zombie storyline gets presented to us in very strange ways, and it does make me question how much of this game is actually real. For example, throughout much of the zombie storyline, we have been presented the game through a series of comic book pictures. It's weird, it's almost as if the zombie storyline isn't really real to our characters. Instead, they are a fictional story within a fictional story. The game is just a comic book, and we are flipping through the pages. This was how Black Ops 1 was presented, and we saw this occasionally through both Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3. I don't know if this is necessarily the case with the zombie storyline, but we've seen it so many times that it definitely cannot be ignored, and it makes me question, is it real or is it just a book? In addition to that, we can see our characters in-game. For example, we can go into Keener Toten, we can go to Samantha's room, and there are our characters in a board game. Our characters actually look at models of themselves. Are they really real, or are they just a simulation, or are they just like created? We also have the Origins ending, where our characters are playing. They are in the world of Origins who complete the Easter egg, and suddenly it's just two children playing a game. They have a Tank Dempsey doll, they have a Richtofen doll, they have a Nikolai doll. Meanwhile, we can see off in the corner the transit crew are in the form of dolls. Everything we've interacted with in the zombie storyline are just toys, a part of their game. What really is the zombie storyline? Is the zombie storyline real? And if it isn't real, does it even matter? I want to be abundantly clear. Do not take what I'm saying as a fact. Do not take what I'm saying as the end-all be-all, because what I'm doing right now is just exploring this weird space that we're in. It's hard to imagine what's actually happening matters and what actually is happening in our game real to our characters when the story keeps being presented in these new, different, inanimate forms. One of the places we may want to actually look for answers would be the campaign. We sometimes forget it, but the campaign does have an influence on our story. It was a much greater influence in previous games such as Black Ops, however, it's still something that we can learn from and take insight. Let's remember the D&I system from the campaign. Now, I'll admit, I'm one of the last few people who should speak educatedly about the campaign. That's something I haven't even really played through yet. However, I am roughly familiar with the D&I system, and for those of you who might know more in the comments, please do feel free to enlighten me, or enlighten the other people if I've happened to make a mistake. But if we can imagine that when you're in this system, this simulation created by the D&I machine, then you are in a realm created by things that are in your mind, much like a dream state, or much like what I mentioned previously that Richtofen could be suggesting. Does this mean that maybe Maxis or Richtofen is in one of these D&I systems, or maybe our characters entered the DNI system, and this is what we're playing through? Are we really just playing in the head of Maxis or the head of Richtofen? And remember the frozen forest, this kind of almost limbo realm? Well, what if another way to look at the frozen forest would be the forest we see in the main menu for Black Ops Zombies? Remember that this is kind of the centerpiece of everything. This is what everybody sees when we begin the game. It has to be important. There has to be a meaning behind it. We of course aren't quite ready to interpret it fully because we don't have enough information. But maybe this is what Treyarch is hinting at. Maybe Treyarch is throwing all these different references. Everything from Richtofen mentioning that might be from their subconscious, this forest that we see in the beginning that almost feels like a limbo realm, the comic books, seeing our characters in-game in the form of dolls, all could be pointing towards this idea that the realm isn't as real as we think it is. But this is a difficult question to answer. There isn't going to be anything concrete, and part of why this is so difficult to answer is because it's difficult to answer in our own life. We can look at our world and say, what really is this? Where does it come from? All religion aside, we get into this complicated chicken and the egg paradox. We can imagine the world and say, okay, what if the world was a simulation? What if we're really just all a part of some computer process? Well, where did that computer process come from? And where did the computer process that created the computer process that created the simulation come from? Where is the beginning? What really is reality? And at the end of the day, does anything really matter? It's the same questions that we're right now asking about the zombie storyline, and I'm not sure we're even capable of figuring out an answer to this. That's going to wrap things up for this commentary. I apologize things got relatively existential, and of course this all just stems from one silly Richtofen quote. This is what the zombie storyline does to me sometimes, but it's a fun discussion. If you enjoyed the video or you'd like more videos like this, please do subscribe for more. I'm always making zombie storyline videos and theories, and if you enjoy them, I'm sure you'll enjoy my next one. Have a wonderful day, and bye.